You've probably smelled many lovely things, from freshly brewed coffee to warm cookies out of the oven. Even though you might have had a whiff of the best aromas, they are nothing compared to our list of scents. From the smell of outer space to that of a Catholic church, here are the top 5 smells that will blow your mind. Hello and welcome to Juicy Truth. If you have a thirst for knowledge that never quits, subscribe to our channel. Let us start with the list. Number 5. Space. The space is empty, so it shouldn't smell like anything. And yet it does. First, a big ball of gas in the middle of the galaxy smells like sweet fruity rum. This gas is called ethyl formate. Why is it there? No one knows. PETTIT, who did work as a science officer on the International Space Station, made his own observations. He said, "The best word I can use to describe it is metallic. It felt kind of sweet and metallic. It made me think of the summers I spent in college fixing heavy machinery for a small logging company with an arc welding torch. It made me think of welding fumes that smelled nice and sweet. In a vacuum, you can't smell anything directly. Still, there are millions of particles floating around that do have a smell." These observations were made when these particles stuck to the astronauts' suits or came in through the airlocks. NASA has tried to make the scent here on Earth as part of their training for future astronauts. Number 4. The Roman Colosseum. People watched a wide range of shows at the Roman Colosseum, from gladiator battles to live animal hunts with exotic creatures. In later times, when Christians were persecuted, they were killed in many ways, including being torn apart by wild animals. But the Romans were sensitive and didn't like the smell of blood, so the Colosseum came up with a very clever way to help. The velarium was an awning that went over the heads of the paying guests. Its job was to protect people from the hot sun and keep the rain away if it rained. Also, well-hidden tubes would constantly spray scented water over the awning. This was done partly to mask the smell of death and somewhat to keep the spectators' heads wet and cool. These were joined by statue-shaped fountains that also poured out fragrant water. The main ingredients in the perfume were saffron and verbena, which the European Union recently banned from being used in any products that come in contact with human skin. Number 3. Drugs. Drugs have been used for thousands of years in their natural form. Most of us would probably not know the smell of a drug if it hit us in the face, except maybe for marijuana. Here is how common drugs smell. Opium. When this is smoked, it smells sweet and a little bit like burnt marshmallows. Heroin. When heroin is burned, it smells very strongly of vinegar. The less smelly it is, the better the quality, but all forms will smell to a certain degree. Cocaine. This smells mostly of methylbenzoate, a chemical found in flowers that gives tuberose its rich smell and gives phagos their unique taste. Number 2. Ancient Egyptian temples. If you've ever been to a Catholic church, you've probably smelled frankincense and myrrh, which are the main ingredients in most church incense. The ancient Egyptians used the same resins in their temples, so when you walked in, you probably smelled the strong smell of incense. Also, like our churches, the Egyptian temples were full of flowers. The next fragrance you might smell in the temple is food. This is because people bring food to the gods as gifts. Most of the time, this was fresh bread and roasted meats. At this point, you can probably imagine that the temple would smell like Christmas in a modern country village. Number 1. Sanctity. Saints have a smell. Well, some saints do. This odor of holiness manifests itself in a variety of ways. For some saints, it is a lovely aroma that they unexplainably emanate during their lives, while for others, it is a smell that begins to exude from their bodies after death. For some, it takes the form of sweet-smelling liquids leaking from the grave containing the saint's bodily remains. One of the most compelling tales about the fragrance of holiness is that of SIMEON STYLITES, who spent 37 years atop a pillar, his skin slowly withering beneath the mortification items he wore. The saint was said to exude the smell of perfume. Tragically, the pillar upon which he stood was destroyed by a missile in Aleppo in 2016. That was it for today's video, guys. Do you know of any other smells that might blow our minds? You let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button. We will see you in the next video. Till then. Take care.